Okay, so I kind of just woke up. I slept really hard. Um, Now I did have a different video uploaded, but I decided to take it down and just do separate videos of each event because I just prefer it that way. So, first things first. So last week, so you all know that last week on Memorial Day was my husband's birthday, and that was Monday. And then the day after, Tuesday, we went to a ball game that was here in our city, and so he already got the tickets for the game the day of his birthday, and then the game happened to be on Tuesday. Well, the game started at 6:15, and I told him we're going to leave the house at 5 because I don't know if traffic is going to cause us to be late just getting to the parking lot and then to have to stand in line and just to get our tickets scanned. So, at 5 o'clock p.m. Tuesday of last week, my cat's about to land on my head. We first headed over to a Family Dollar not far from where we live and got some snacks and drinks, which I had in my backpack, and we went to the game. And then, hold on. We, after getting the snacks, we went to the parking lot of the game. And then at 5:30, we went to the game, got our tickets scanned in, and we sat down. And our seats to see the game is right behind, my husband called it the home plate. It's the, where the catcher, the batter, and then that referee person who stands behind the catcher when they're going to, if they have to catch the ball when it's coming. And we sat directly behind them, and halfway through the game, excuse me, and when the batter hit a ball, it flew up over the net, and I'm looking up and I see it coming down, and my husband's looking for the ball, trying to see where it's at. I see it, and I tell him, it's above you. The ball is above you, and it's coming down. That's when he jumps up and moves out of the way. I'm watching the ball come down, and the way that I'm seeing it, I assumed that it was going to just, land straight onto the concrete floor where our feet are, right next to me. I thought, okay, based on how it looks like it's coming down, I'm just going to move my legs out of the way and let it come down. And then once it hits the floor, I'll just pick up the ball. Apparently, the ball had other plans because it comes crashing down, and I feel like it slightly pivoted in its direction course, because instead of hitting just the ground next to me, it decides it's going to hit my knee. I don't know if anyone that's viewing this video has experienced getting hit with a foul ball. That is my first time being hit with one that I remember. I don't remember that ever happening before. And it hurt a lot. Now, my husband and I, so you have me here, and then he's here, and he has some dude on his other side, on his left, who I guess seen it hit me, because I heard him yell out, "Did you get hit?" My husband heard him, turned around, looked at me, and said, "Did it hit you?" And I nodded and said, "Yes, it did." And the thing was, my knee was in so much pain from being hit that I had a small bit of anger from getting hit. That anger made me want to curse every word I know. I didn't, but I wanted to because of the pain level. But after a couple of minutes, it subsided and the pain mostly left. I was fine, and I was able to calm down. And he goes, well, if I had known you were not going to move, I would have pushed you out of the way. And I looked at him and said, this isn't your fault. I thought I had moved my legs out of the way and that I was fine and that it was just going to land on the floor next to me. I didn't know that I didn't move enough and it still managed to hit me. I didn't know. If I had known it was going to come closer to me than I thought, I would have gotten up and moved. But I didn't. It's my fault because I didn't know. And I later told him, I said, the next time we come to this game, we're bringing a catcher's mitt so that I know I can be prepared to catch it if it does happen to land with us, instead of my knee finding it. I'd rather have a catcher's mitt to catch the ball in midair. So that's what we're going to do. And I still have a small bruise from where it hit me. It doesn't hurt really anymore. I mean, every now and then I might feel a little bit of something go through my knee, but hardly at all. And let's see. Sometime, like maybe 10 minutes later, a lady who is a staff there, she comes up behind me at the game and goes, did you get hit? And I said, yes, I did. She goes, where did it hit you? And I said, my knee. She goes, do you need to see the first aid nurse? And I looked at her and said, no, there's nothing broken and nothing bleeding. I'm fine. It's just a bruise. I pulled out my pant leg and I showed her to her and she goes, ow. Because you could see a big red spot where it hit me. And I'm like, I should be fine. It's just going to be a really big bruise probably tomorrow, but I'll be okay. Nothing's broken. Nothing's bleeding. I'm fine. And she goes, well, I want to follow up on you in a couple of days to see how you're doing. So she took my name and number. Before she left, I asked her, I said, how did you even know to come down here and ask me? And she goes, oh, my staff is up there behind you, standing up there. They were watching and they saw the ball hit you and they told me to come check on you because you got hit. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that they even had staff members standing around watching to see if anyone gets hit. I didn't know that. And I'm like, okay. Well, now I know they have staff people standing there to keep an eye on civilians getting hit with foul balls. I didn't know they did that. So I was like, how did you know? So, the team we were there watching, they didn't win, but it was fine. I mean, I wasn't there really to see the team we were rooting for to technically win. I was just there to watch the game because I enjoy watching baseball. It's fun to watch. You're always curious as to where the ball is going to land and how fast they can run to get through all the bases. But it was okay. Now, I will say this. When we first started watching the game, I noticed that there was a couple, like, 1, 2, 3 seats down away from me to my right. And the woman, her perfume she was wearing was so strong that I was starting to get a headache. I felt like I was going to gag. And the first thing that went through my mind was, did she dump the whole bottle all over her body? I feel like she literally dumped the bottle on herself because it was such a strong smell of perfume. My first thought was like, woman, you don't need that much perfume. A little goes a long way. I've been told that you don't need to wear that much. But I swear it literally smelled like she dumped the whole bottle on herself. And the only reason why I'm making comments about it is because I'm allergic to perfume. And if anyone wants to ask, well, how are you allergic to perfume? I'm highly, highly sensitive to it. And the smell or whatever chemicals are in the perfume, the fragrance part of it alone, when it goes up my nostril, I immediately start to feel a sharp pain in my head. Like it goes up my nose and somewhere around here, I feel a very sharp pain. And that pain soon starts to turn into a headache. And if I continue to sit there with the smell going up my nose even more, the pain goes from headache to full-blown migraine. Now, that's just if I happen to smell the scent. Now, if I accidentally spray perfume on me, I not only get a headache, but my whole entire arm starts to itch so bad that all I want to do is scratch like really hard on my arm until like I pretty much scratch my hand. Like I scratch the skin completely off because that's how badly it itches. And I've got a roaring migraine the whole time. So like 7 to 8 years ago, my husband and I went to JCPenney's. They had a perfume counter there. And we were curious about a certain perfume smell to see how my body would react. So they had testers there. And she took a little and she sprayed it right here on my, this part of my wrist. She just sprayed a little bit right here. And we waited to see what would happen. Within 30 seconds to a minute of her spraying it, I immediately had a migraine. And then a full minute after she sprayed it, my wrist was so itchy. I looked at him and said, we're going to go home. I'm going to get liquid Benadryl and I'm going to take some because my wrist feels like I have broken out in hives. I am itching like crazy and I have a horrible migraine. Now, he was standing close by when the lady sprayed me with it. And on the way home, we were almost home when he comes out and says, I have a migraine too and I didn't even get sprayed with it. And we got home, we both took Benadryl. It made the itching stop within a minute or two. And my migraine was gone. And that's when we knew that I'm definitely like highly sensitive and allergic to it. So that is the only reason why I even brought up the fact that the woman wearing the perfume, it probably would not have been such a bad thing if she only had maybe a little bit of the perfume sprayed on her. Just enough for herself to smell it. Not for the whole stadium to smell her. But she had so much on her that 3 seats down from me, it was affecting me. And I'm trying really hard not to face her direction whatsoever and just face my other side where my husband is so that I'm not inhaling the smell so much because it was really affecting my head. And finally, this one couple, they ended up coming in. They were not there for very long at all. They came in and they sat down in the seats between me and this woman who's with her man. And the couple sits down and the woman is sitting next to me. And both of their bodies combined sitting between me and that other woman. It helped block majority of the perfume smell. Because once they sat down, it was like an instant barrier. The perfume smell just stopped. And my first thought was, oh, thank God. I was thankful to God. And I thanked him in my head. I said, thank you, Lord, for sending that couple to sit there long enough to block the aroma of the perfume. Because once they blocked it, the perfume stopped going up my nose and the headache started to slowly subside. And I'm like, oh, jeez. Now, the only issue my husband had with the people sitting next to me is they were drinking beer. He was drinking straight out of a bottle. The woman was drinking out of a little see-through cup. And apparently the smell of the beer was very strong to him. He complained about that on Facebook. And he goes, the smell of the beer made me want to vomit. And I commented on it saying, yeah, well, they blocked the lady wearing too much perfume. And it helped me out. So it's like a kind of a balance type of thing. They weren't there for long. The couple, I felt like they were literally only there maybe 10 minutes. Because no sooner did they finish their drinks, they got up and left. And they never came back. And I'm like, okay. And later on, I asked my husband, I'm like, why do people purchase tickets to come to a game if they're not going to stay here the whole time? Now, if there's a family emergency, I understand. That might be the reason. But they were barely here for 10 minutes. And then they just up and left. When they first got up to leave, I thought and assumed that they were only going to get more to drink because they both ran out of drinks. But when they never returned, my first thought was, why did you come and spend $36 for your seat if you're not going to stay to watch the whole game? We stayed the whole game. I only got up once, and that was to go to the bathroom. I drank so much soda sitting there that I had to pee. And I went to the bathroom, I came back, and then after that, I never got out of my seat again. I watched the whole game. So, yeah. Now that's just me talking about last week. So, another video soon to follow.